Hi guys, follow me on Instagram to never ever miss any of my crazy updates. Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I'm driving this. This is the Toyota Vellfire and this car comes courtesy of Yatindra to me. Now this is a very interesting car because it's got a lot of luxury which is unlike a Toyota. But straight away, let's see the dynamic swipe indicators of the car. Look at that. Isn't that super duper cool? Obviously all LED lights which are quite bright. You've got projector setup as well. This is actually on the low beam. There's fog light here, lot of chrome treatment almost everywhere. You get this chrome grille of course, but before that let me quickly open the engine bay. It's like a cab forwardish design, so this is very chintu mintu, and oh my god, this opens quite a lot. There's insulation there but no gas struts. You can see very compact. It says hybrid synergy drive right there with the Toyota logo on top. That's kind of interesting. It's very small, so let's just shut this. So there's a lot of chrome, this blue tinge on the Toyota logo because this is a hybrid. There's a front camera here. You get front parking sensors. I think this is for the towing hook of course, and there's so much reflection in this chrome that I can be seen right now. Now you can see these are beautiful lights, like really very strong and bright lights with this blue tinge on the inside. I was talking about the parking sensors right there. They are. Those are the horns and there are two of them. Anyways, this car is massive. Firstly, the ground clearance is very low at 160 mm, so you have to be very careful over bad bumps. And the length is almost 5 meters, so it's slightly more than 4.9 meters and obviously lesser than 5 meters. But the wheelbase is exactly 3 meters, and let me quickly show you the key of the vehicle. So it says Vellfire here, and this is to lock the car, this is to unlock the car, and this is to open the rear doors. They are sliding doors, electrically moving of course, and this is to open the powered tailgate, Toyota logo there. None of this actually works when the car is on, like is the case right now, and you get a lot of chrome here and there. It says hybrid here. The tire size happens to be a 225/60/17 chrome colored wheels, which look quite nice, and there is a camera here of course. Now the thing is, I'm going to open the rear door. I just like pull it like that and there it opens. There are many ways to open the door. In fact, there are buttons on the top. There are the inside rear view mirror as well. Now I can easily slide this like this. Okay, the seats actually take, oh my god, it's such an effort. Yeah, crazy effort to move the seats. Ho. Now you can see there's so much space because these seats are placed all the way ahead. I'll just put this behind, very easy. Not really, but there I push it behind. So there's a lot of effort which is required. Plus, because we are against gravity, it becomes a little bit more tougher. But look at that, a third row which is very much useful. Where do you see that? In fact, to climb in, it's very easy. I climb in like this, and my goodness, look at the amount of legroom on offer. Isn't that amazing? Underside support is average, not that great, and it's just unbelievably comfortable. There's good amount of headroom on offer. It's so spacious. Now obviously these two seats have become useless because I push them all the way ahead. However, I can pull them back like using this lever. Now I can push it ahead or behind as well. There is something here which is kind of weird. Twin cup holders of course, some storage space, wood treatment, sun blind is here. Yeah, this is a manual sun blind which you can just put like that. Isn't that amazing? Here is, I don't know, something is there. Proper seat belt for the middle passenger as well, and that's not all. Center passenger also gets a head. You've got center armrest as well, so it's amazing the kind of comfort and all, but the seat can move ahead and behind by a lot, which you already have seen. Now this is actually, if I want to recline this seat, so I can push it back like this. Yeah, so person sitting on the last row can actually move this seat to make themselves very much comfortable, and using this lever you can pull the seat ahead and behind. Problem is that everything is a two-hand operation. Nothing works with one hand because seats are, this railing is kind of stiff, so it doesn't work so easily. Now let's do one thing. Let's get outside before that there's some faltu ka warning. Anyways, getting in and out isn't that difficult, and here we are. Now I just pull it like this and there it shuts. It's very easy, or I can just press the button and it will shut. So it's amazing in terms of space. Window area is also big. Coming to the rear of the car, again it's a very boxy design. And the lights are all LEDs of course. You can see they look beautiful. It says hybrid synergy drive E4 because this is electric 4-wheel drive. Vellfire Executive Lounge is written right there. Dynamic swipe indicators, that's too much for a Toyota honestly. This massive chrome bar which runs through. You get a rear spoiler with a high mounted stop lamp, and the rear wiper is hidden like a Range Rover. Meanwhile, you get a towing hook there. Parking sensors of course. Towing hook is there on both the sides, that's weird. There is a camera placement here. The Toyota logo gets the blue tinge, and there is the exhaust. Faisal Khan's fingers of truth. Disappointed that the exhaust is actually hidden. It's a very boxy design. There's a reflector there. Let's open the boot. Now the thing is, when I open it, I have to pull it a little bit, and then okay, against gravity again. Then once I pull it a little bit, No. Once more, let's give it another try, and then it opens. It's actually a power tailgate, but it's a bit weird in the way it works. Now, in order to recline the seat, it's very easy, but firstly, let me tell you, this is actually 90 liters. That's it. It's very small, and we've got a light here. But we've also got a light here on the other side. And now, in order to recline this, it's very easy. Okay, there are some levers here. So, firstly, this is to move this ahead and behind there. Isn't that easy to do? Yeah, against gravity, everything works. And spare wheel is actually placed here. It's not full size. In fact, it is just 155/80/17. It is an alloy, but it's placed right here. In fact, there is some storage space here, and there is a cubby hole right here where the warning triangle is lying. So they've actually made use of all this. Now, in order to put this seat back up, firstly, I need to position this with this arrow. So this seat needs to be with that arrow, which means I'll pull this, move it ahead a little bit. We have to, okay, we have hit the arrow. Now it will work. So basically now I can put this down, and then I can, okay, this headrest is coming in the way, which means that it has to be removed. Yes, center passenger, sorry, your head is gone. Let's recline this. Okay, recline this. Now you can put it up. There it is. Okay, it's gone up. Ideally, you can use to pull this. This also sticks here with Velcro. And when you do it for both the seats, which is very easy to do, I'll just show you right now. Pull this and slot this into this arrow grid. Yeah, Toyota is so process particular that you have to make sure that things are completely aligned. Why is this not slotting in? Gravity working its way. Anyways, you get the gist. You see, it is like a house. There's so much space on offer. It's unfreaking believable. It's kind of crazy. But Toyota is so process driven now that unless and until you don't slot it in the right slot or with this arrow, it will not work only. So let's just put this, and then obviously you got a recline angle for this too. So that's quite easy and very impressive. How much you can move this seat ahead and behind. Very nice. I like it for sure. So this is a car where 3 people can easily sit in the last row because the center passenger does get ahead, which is nice. Power tailgate, I press this button and there it goes down. Again, it's a bit slow, but I'm not complaining. Fuel goes in right here. It's obviously a hybrid, petrol hybrid. Let's just shut this and let's open this. So again, all I need to do is just pull it. There you go. There's a Legender going there. There's an Innova standing here. We are in Toyota land right now, I feel. Now again, getting in and out is very easy. I can easily push this seat all the way behind. Just this lever and push it. Oh my God. Against gravity, now it's not working actually. So I'm hoping to slot this into place right now. Now I can press this button. Check this button, okay? I can press this button to recline the seat. There, it is reclining. Okay, and trust. Okay, now it's slotted into place because again, Toyota is so process driven. It has to be in the exact same spot, otherwise it does not slot. So using this lever, you can move this ahead and behind. You can recline this. But you know what? You want more comfort, right? So let me just open this. There are a lot of buttons here. I can press a button right here to actually remove this. There it's coming out, which is the ottoman for better calf support as well as improved under thigh support. So I can just retract it all the way. I can then also extend it, and then if I want, I can also move this seat ahead and behind the angle of the backrest using this button. So there are a lot of these buttons here. So this is obviously for the ottoman. Now this is actually for the recline angle, memory seats of course. And then if you want to get everything into position, you press this button. This will go inside and slot right into position, but we'll keep it open for a bit. Now this is actually for heating and cooling of the seats. It's a fantastic thing. It is actually known as the Lounge Command Center, which is quite cool. And again, a lot of leather. This is Napa leather. So this is obviously finished in beige. You can also get black if you so like. Isofix child seat mounts. Acoustic green glass in order to cut light of course, and here I'm slipping right now in that ditch. Anyways, let's get inside and sit. For starters, there is amazing amount of space on offer. Okay, under thigh support is never an issue because of this thing. Of course, you can see it's very comfortable, good amount of leg room. In fact, headroom is also quite impressive here. And then you've got a hook handle. There is a light, it's a spotlight or what. Let me actually open this and let me use this. Okay, there it is, the spotlight, and you won't believe it, I can actually increase or decrease the intensity of this light using these buttons. So it's just fantastic the way it has been done. Anyways, we want to shut this, right? So how do we shut this? Well, it's quite easy. All I need to do is press it like that, and there it shuts. Okay, you see the window area is massive, it's huge, and then obviously I have a sun blind here which I can use like this, and that is fantastic because it cuts the external light coming inside, gives me some privacy as well. AC vents are placed here on the top everywhere, and there's a light placement here as well. Last two passengers also get a handle as well as a hook, and you can see this is for the ambient lighting. So it's got 16 colors for the ambient lighting. In fact, let me open the sunroof here. So here I press this button, there it is opening. So it's got two sunroofs. The problem is because this car's got two sunroofs. Now Toyota had no sunroofs remaining to put it in the Innova Krista, but it opens like really wide. You press it once again, it's like massive, it's huge. You've got speakers here, and you've got a like bottle holder right there, speaker there as well. JBL sound system, it's got like 17 speakers, which is insane. There's some storage space here, there's a handle to hold on to here, there's a handle to hold on to here, and height adjustable seat belts at the front. The dashboard actually looks quite nice by Toyota standards, of course. And I need to push this seat back, so there is some amount of effort which is needed, which is there's the lever, and there I push it back. Okay, you need to slot into place. So I'm continuously fighting with gravity, hoping that this will slot into place. After some acrobats, I finally managed to slot this seat back into position, which was quite tough, but yeah, finally it's slotted there. Oh my god, this is just amazing, I can't believe it. Now there should be a screen here for which there's a remote right here. So when I press open, this is what exactly happens. There opens the screen. Now this is a 13.3-inch screen, which actually gives you some warning unnecessarily to scare you silly. It's got HDMI, it's got a lot of things with which you can connect, okay? And then you can probably see a movie as well. This is a very cool thing, okay? So we'll just shut it for the moment. This is obviously for the rear seat passengers' entertainment. So there it is shut. Let's put this back into place. And there's some amount of storage here, wherein there's a scale model of the Vellfire. So actually it is of the Alphard, which is basically the Vellfire only, which we'll talk about more when we are driving this car. It's actually quite deep. There's an HDMI port here, just in case you want to see a movie in this screen. So excellent comfort. The only problem is that if I put this down, this particular thing down, so we're just going to open this. There's this button which is hidden, so they have not really managed this in the best way. It should have been the other way, so you could actually see what's what. So I'm just going to recline this. Problem is now there, footroom is a bit of a challenge because they have actually put the batteries here below the front seats. So that's why footroom is a big challenge, of course. Beautiful wood treatment as well, and then I'm hunting for more stuff to see. So here there's a cup holder, and this opens. Okay, there's some storage space here. Now what if I'm hungry? Very simple, I press this and there I actually have a table. The table size is very small, so it's basically for smaller food items, not for bigger food items. But I like the way that you can just, okay, just slot it back. It's so smooth in terms of operation there. In fact, when I press this button there, it automatically comes and smoothly gets into place. Imagine the level of engineering done behind that you don't hear anything. It's that amazing. So obviously you get tables as well at the rear. Super duper awesome. So I really like the way this cabin has been done. Let's do one thing. Let's actually close the sunroof, and there it's shutting. Now obviously it's got a 3-zone climate control air conditioning, 2 zones for the front and 1 at the rear. The rear one is dedicated here, so you can actually use the air conditioning like this. You're going to turn it off, and then this is for the lights, okay, and then you can change the colors. So for the ambient light now, here's the color, but you can obviously not see anything because it's super bright. It obviously works better at night, but yeah, those are the controls for the same. Now let's get outside, which means opening the door, and it's actually easy to get in and out. There's sort of a footstep here, and I'm just going to pull this, and there it shuts. In fact, I'm not going to pull this. I'm just going to be like, okay, let's leave it open. So we just leave it open for a moment. Chrome treatment, beautifully done. That aerodynamic treatment which Toyota does in almost all its cars from the 2014 Corolla onwards, I believe. Electric adjust for the front seats. You can see that. Says Vellfire here. Door pockets are big enough at the front. JBL speakers. Now there is illumination here. These are the controls for the child lock as well as for opening and closing the doors. These are the controls for the outside rear view mirror adjustment. These are heated and they have memory function as well. You can save up to 3 people's settings. So here I press a button and there the seat is moving and slotting into position. So driver gets the memory function and there it is going up. It's quite cool, right? The other cool bit is that I can actually move the seat from behind. So there's this boss mode buttons here on the side in order to increase the legroom further. that's again cool. Now we want to close that door, very simple. So there's this button here. I press this like this, yeah, and there it shuts. So you can actually open and close the doors from here itself, from the center. And if you want to put this back down, very easy. There are buttons here. I press this button and there it's going back inside and it will fold. So the ottoman can be operated from below the steering wheel. Yeah, it's kind of a weird position because you cannot see it all the time, but definitely you can operate this there. Okay, there are buttons right there. So this is for the left side one, this is for the right side one. Some dummy buttons here, some buttons here for the instrument cluster to get into odo and trip, and also increase or decrease the brightness of the instrument cluster. And this is the view mode for the camera. The camera does a full spin, so it has a 360-degree parking camera, of course, and then it's got another view here. So let it finish its spin and then we'll come to the other view. In fact, this screen is 10.5 inch in size, which is decent size, not really very big, I would say. Now I'm just going to press the other one and then again it does the same spin. It's very similar to what we have seen in other Toyota cars and also in Maruti Suzuki cars, so obviously the supplier is definitely the same here. Now the thing is, this seat also gets the ottoman, which is kind of surprising, which means that I have to actually push the seat behind. Everything is so electrically operated now, it's absolutely crazy. And there are buttons here. Now to use the ottoman, I press a button and there it's coming out. So this thing is not available for the driver because it's going to be a little silly if the driver gets it. I'll just show you how it looks. It looks quite cool. Those are the buttons here, that additional button, and there's an ashtray right there. So the glove box is not that big as such, and there's a CD changer right there. So Toyota is still in 2010, and here you get a bottle holder, which by the way is right in front of the AC so that it cools your drinks too. Now you get a sunroof here. I'll press this button to open the sunroof. You have to actually keep this pressed for a couple of seconds, and you know what I did? I opened the rear door. So there's that confusion which is definitely happening. I was aiming to, oh my god, is that a Vellfire? There's a white Vellfire there. I told you now we are in Toyota land. So let me just close this and let's open the sunroof, which means that I have to press this button. Press it for 2 seconds, Faisal. Then it will open, and it's opened the rear one. So we will open it like this, and then you know what? This thing does not open. I kid you not. This thing actually does not open. It's like locked. It can tilt upwards, but it does not open, which is a shock to me, honestly. I opened the rear one because I thought, okay, this will open it, but no, Toyota's like crazy. This does not open. How is that even possible? Now you get a mirror and a light here. You get a mirror and light here as well. And there's a handle to hold on to. There's a handle to hold on to here also, so that easier to get in and out. In fact, it also gets a puddle light right there. And you can see that the door pockets are actually quite big, so you can keep a lot of stuff there. In fact, there's some storage space here, and then you can turn off the power door by pressing this button. This is the engine start button, and there's a cup holder here, which is again right in front of the AC. Steering wheel is adjustable both for reach as well as rake, but you know what? It's a bit on the lower side. In fact, I think I need to move my seat behind because I don't have enough space. There's a proper dead pedal. In fact, it says airbag here. It's got 7 airbags. The 7th airbag is here. Otherwise, 2 airbags at the front and massive curtain airbags on both the sides as well. Okay, the thing is, I have not managed to close the rear door. Now it is shutting. I'm just imagining, how are there so many Vellfires around? In fact, Hyderabad accounts for 20% of Vellfire sales. That's the level of popularity of this car here. And there are twin cup holders. This thing actually comes out straight away. There's a pad right here. There's some storage space here. These are actually the controls for the seat ventilation and heating for this particular seat which I'm sitting on. And you know, you can lock it by pressing this. So both the front seats get this function, but there's no massage function. This opens like this. It's big enough. 12-volt charging socket is given right inside, and there's also a USB charging socket. This is decently deep. Now it can be opened from the other side as well. So the hinge is such that depending on who opens it, it opens from that particular side. Here there is some storage space, which is quite cool. Let's just shut this. This is the electric parking brake. This is the auto hold function. This is to get into pure EV mode. This is for traction control, and this is to get into eco mode. Gear lever feels nice to hold. They've put this sort of wood treatment here. Now air conditioning is actually a chiller. So I'm just going to turn on the air conditioning. You see there are dual zones at the front. It says Nano E. Let's just shut this for the moment. Vents are placed like this, and this screen is 10.5 inch in size. There's a 4.2 inch multi-information display right there, and I think this is for the rain sensing wipers. Obviously it has got automatic headlights, it's got automatic wipers. Let's use the wipers right away. Oh, good amount of spray on offer. The wipers work really well, expectedly though. So the steering has a lot of buttons. These are actually for the audio system and phone commands. These are actually to browse through that multi-information display. It's very similar to what we have seen in a lot of Toyota cars. So it's even showing me rear AC level. That's kind of cool and unnecessary probably. Okay, rear WD state, and then you can adjust a lot of things including light colors. So here you can change the ambient lighting. So it has got 16 colors for the ambient lighting, and all of them can be changed from here. And then you can browse through so much information, which is usually the norm with most Toyota cars, like they have the similar thing. Now this is the power meter, and there is the engine temperature, there is the fuel meter, that is the speedometer, and obviously telltale lights are placed almost everywhere. There's this wood treatment here. A heads-up display would be a nice addition for sure, and this is for the cruise control. Meanwhile, I already shown you the buttons. A lot of physical buttons for the air conditioning, of course, everywhere, dual zone and all that. Now this screen is not that great. It's kind of boring. Let me get into this particular thing. The only interesting part is this information which shows you what is the battery charge like for the hybrid system, of course, and that's about it. Yeah, it doesn't have anything interesting, but it has got Apple CarPlay, it has got Android Auto connectivity. In fact, let's listen to an audio right away. Audio quality is decent. It's not spectacular, but I would say it is decent enough. The horn is okay types. It's not exceptional either. Now there is a sunglass holder here, and there's a light placement here on the top, of course. It's a very comfortable car with just amazing seats, Napa leather and the likes, and it's like a 5-star hotel on wheels. Let's start driving right away. Alright, we are all set to go, which means first and foremost, I'm going to turn on the 360 camera. You know why? Firstly, if you notice, there's no attention to detail. The sunroofs and the moonroof is not seen. And by the way, when it is open, it also tells you that moonroof is open here in the 4.2-inch MID. Now, you can actually change the color of the car. So, there are 4 colors which you can actually change. No, there's 7 colors. So, you can change the color of the car here, although it's not very much visible. And let's get into reverse straight away. This is the reverse parking camera, and you've got multiple views as well. Wider view, narrow view, zoomed view and all. And then obviously, you've got adaptive guidelines. You've got a 360-degree parking camera as well. First things first, air conditioning off completely. We get into drive mode, turn off eco mode, turn off traction control as well. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, into sport mode, hazard lights off, revving the motor, engine kicks in and off we go. It is one big fat linear pull in terms of performance, and the brakes don't have that grabby feel which you get with hybrid cars. So very well modulated brake pedal. Obviously it's an international model, comes in via the CBU route. Now they're big fat speed breakers, which means that we have to slow down, angle the car. Even though the ground clearance is 160 mm, still you have to be a bit careful over bad bumps, and especially over such big fat speed breakers, not to scrape the underbelly, because obviously long wheelbase and it is like low in terms of ground clearance. Now this car is powered by a 2.5 litre 4-cylinder engine which runs the Atkinson cycle. This is the same engine which does duty in the Toyota Camry as well as the Lexus ES300H. It also powers the NX, but the NX has a higher tune, so it is the NX350H. Earlier it was the NX300H. This engine produces 115 horsepower and 198 Newton meters of torque, but this is 4-wheel drive, electric 4-wheel drive, because it's got 2 motors. There's a motor at the front which almost always assists the engine and also is able to charge the battery using a generator. Now this motor specifically produces around 141 horsepower and 270 Newton meters of torque. But there's a rear motor too which steps in when there's a need, and it also steps in when there's some loss of traction, just to give you more grip with 4-wheel drive capability. That one produces just 67 horsepower and 139 Newton meters of torque. The result is this car doesn't feel sluggish at all in spite of the weight of 2,300 kgs, which is unbelievable. In fact, let's do one thing. Let me get into the menu and we turn the information on so that you can see how the hybrid system works. I'm going to do the exact same thing here as well, the energy monitor. So basically this is a self-charging hybrid wherein the engine usually charges the battery, and under braking also, regenerative braking also pushes back energy into the battery pack. Now this is a nickel metal hydride battery. It is not a lithium ion, which is sort of cost cutting by Toyota, of course, because a nickel hydride battery is obviously cheaper. However, it is heavier and it doesn't have the same level of performance as a lithium ion one. The funny thing is, a car which costs 1/6 of this car gets a lithium ion battery, which is obviously the Toyota Urban Cruiser Hyrider. Making a quick overtake is not a problem because it immediately pulls. It's such a smooth car. It's unbelievably smooth and refined. It feels so easy to drive. You don't feel the width, length, height, and of course the steering is just light so that you can glide through the worst of roads. It's an unbelievably smooth car. This hybrid system works fantastically well. The claimed fuel efficiency is somewhere around 16.5 kilometers per litre as per ARAI, which is kind of good considering the size, weight and all. And you never feel the weight of the car. That's how well engineered it is. It's unbelievably smooth. Now obviously it uses an eCVT gearbox. Right now we are in sport mode. There are no paddle shifters because obviously it doesn't need any of that. It's just I would say a very easy car to drive once you get used to the dimensions, because the dimensions are just massive. Let's actually use the wipers, put some water on the windshield, because the wipers are also so big because the windshield itself is so huge. Now globally it comes with Toyota's Sensing 2.0. Now latest is 3.0 in the Innova Hi-Cross. This car doesn't have any of the ADAS functions, which is kind of surprising, and the handling is not that great because the steering is just too light. You can see there's some slack in the center position, and obviously there's a lot of body roll as well, which is expected because look at the size of this car. This is not meant to corner hard, period. You just don't do that with this car. But the level of smoothness of the suspension really shocks you. Yeah, it has this hint of firmness which usually international models have. Now this is Toyota's flagship model. This is the only Toyota car in India right now which comes via the CBU route, because everything else is obviously locally manufactured, and then some of the cars are also locally assembled. But this is CBU. That's why so much taxes, and that's the reason the high price as well. But there's a relation to the Alphard. So this is basically the second generation version of the Toyota Vellfire, technically the third generation of the Alphard on what it is based on. So it's a sportier version of the Alphard, and it also comes with a more powerful engine, a 3.5 liter V6 motor abroad, but we get the lower engine, the smaller engine, which gets the job done. You never feel it's underpowered. In fact, top speed is 170 kilometers per hour, which is quite nice. There we have got 50% battery, which means I'm going to try and get into EV mode once I slow down. Let's see if that works. I don't think that EV mode is going to work, but under ideal conditions, 50% of your drive can actually happen in EV mode, which is quite good, right? To boost fuel efficiency and save the earth. So here, EV mode, it will say not available. No, it is on EV mode right now. It's just like unbelievably silent. The engine will kick in when the battery will be lower and past a certain speed where it feels okay, now I cannot carry on like this. That is when it will kick in. But oh my god, this is so silent. It's so smooth. It's unbelievably refined. You can just hear nothing at all other than the horn, of course. And as I get into the throttle, it says accelerator depressed too far, EV mode deactivated. Well done. So the attention to detail is so crazy in this car. Firstly, the rear headrests have this surround around them for better comfort. When you open the rear doors, now the sliding doors, there's this reflector which is kind of hidden, which you cannot see also. So that's the level of attention detail. And as soon as I get into the throttle, it has the typical whine, typical rubber band effect sort of feel, and then it just holds on to max RPM, I believe, and then just keeps spinning and making that sound, but it becomes vocal in the top end. Otherwise it's very silent, and because we're in sport mode, it limits this thing to gear to 4th. So right now it's showing me S4 there. So we are just going to actually downshift. Here we are in first. You have to count the number of speed breakers I've crossed today. It's absolutely insane. So I want to feel the performance of this car, which I can't do on that particular road on the right, because obviously on the ORR I will be like constantly cruising. This is a great car to cruise. This is actually a fantastic car to sit behind and just enjoy the level of luxury, comfort. And the real thing is that the Mercedes V-Class is its rival, which is just having that Mercedes-ness to it, the luxury quotient, and plus slightly better interior parts, because some of the parts come from lower models. It doesn't feel that right, but this is a Toyota. It will be very reliable, period. Toyota offers a warranty of 3 years, 1 lakh kilometer on this car, which you can extend to 5 years, 2.2 lakh kilometers, which is standard affair. And the battery comes with a warranty of 8 years, 1.6 lakh kilometers. So yes, you have no reason to complain when you buy a Toyota, because even though you compromise a bit on flamboyance, you make up for it by getting great reliability and good quality as well. Quality that lasts, that's what I'm talking about. Now, the thing I was telling you, and the most important thing which I feel, is that the price is on the higher side. Of course it is, but then you get a car which is kind of unrivaled. This looks way better than the V-Class. The V-Class is sort of an ugly duckling. And then, like I was telling you about the Alphard's USP is that it has its own logo, by the way. So they also have a Toyota Crown Vellfire for China, wherein it has the Crown logo. You know, the Crown is another model line for Toyota. So that logo is placed in multiple places. And this is actually the facelifted model, launched in 2020 in India. And like they were planning to sell around 60 units a month, which is 720 units a year, out of which 20% goes to Hyderabad itself, because Hyderabad is a massive market for this car. And now I see the reason why, because I'm already seeing a lot of models. I'm not sure if they're even selling 500 units a year because of the high price. The price of this car is 1.2 crore on road Mumbai, which is expensive, no doubt about that. But then obviously the level of comfort and all you get is unbelievable. Toyota's flagship car for the moment, okay, because obviously the Land Cruiser 300, the LC300 is coming very soon. Now over these bad bumps and all, that's where you feel a little bit of the stiffness, so you have to a little bit slow down. Now see, now you can feel it, but like on most part of the roads, it's just a very smooth sailing car, just unbelievably smooth. Here, let me actually manually shift and see where all can we go. So yeah, 6-speed is what we have got here. And every time I brake, I feel a little bit of nosedive. Under heavy braking, obviously there'll be more nosedive, but that's not something you would really complain about. What you will complain about though is that your parking lot will just not accommodate a car of this size. It is unbelievably big. It's unnecessarily big. But then this is the only car wherein I can tell you confidently, no under thigh support problems, no, none of that. No headroom problems, no legroom problems in the third row. And I've always complained about the third row, but this car has none of those issues. So that's like a big win here. Okay, hazard lights on, we're going to stop. So hazard lights off, left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor, and off we go. Wasn't traction control off? Yeah, it automatically turns on beyond a speed, I believe, and there's nothing which tells me it's on or off. But okay, yeah, there's no control beyond a speed for traction control. So combined output from this battery as well as this engine is around 197 bhp for this luxury van, which has a claimed ARAI mileage of 16.35 kilometers per liter. And if you're lucky enough, you can hit a top speed of 170 kilometers per hour. But honestly, I'm struggling to reach even 100 on these roads, because obviously you have to like fight aerodynamics and wind. There is no aerodynamic concept here, period, none of it. The fuel tank capacity is 58 liters, so they have a relatively small fuel tank compared to the size of the car, which they can get away with considering that the electric motor actually improves the overall efficiency. And there's just one variant on offer, which is the Executive Lounge. Now okay, I'm just going to get a little aggressive on the brakes, and as I do that, braking performance is actually very impressive, very, very, very impressive. The thing is that this car comes with this 10.5 inch screen, right? Not really. So what Toyota is doing in order to boost its profitability is doing the Toyota scam, yet another one of those, like they did the scam with the Crista, wherein they discontinued the Crista diesel only for the pure reason that the Crista diesel was emitting way more CO2 emissions than it was permitted, and the government caught them, so they had to discontinue the car overnight, unfortunately. So that scam happened. Now what they're doing is that they're importing a lower variant of the Vellfire to India, and the dealer is actually installing a screen here. Yes, that sounds unfreaking believable, but that's what they're doing. So what happens is when they import a lower variant, the import duty is also lower, which they have to pay to the government, thereby saving money, and then they install a screen here. But the problem is that they're not able to get this size of screen, so they're installing a smaller screen, like a 9-inch unit and not a 10.5-inch unit. So if you know, you know. And then customers are getting scammed right, left and center, which is kind of the unfortunate thing. Now, not many customers are getting, because the Vellfire obviously is not a huge in demand car as such, but yeah, that's something which is quite unbelievable is happening right now. Anyways, you can see the steering is so freaking light. It's not super duper feather light, but it is definitely light enough. And I don't know what is this kind of jam at this intersection in particular, but never mind. It always tells me ready for what? For beans? Probably yes. So I never ever feel even once that I'm driving a car which is so heavy. Like 2300 kgs is a lot of weight to lug around, and part of it is also because of all the electronics, the battery on which I'm sitting on obviously at the moment. And now the roads are getting kind of bad, but as long as you're able to manage the ground clearance, it's a non-issue, because the ride is overall good. A little bit stiffness you can feel at lower speeds, you can contend with it, because most people are not going to be driving on these roads, because a person who has such a car will definitely also have the Innova, and the Innova is ready for beating because it's a body on frame. This is a monocoque. So quite a nice car. I really liked it. In fact, the Vellfire was launched in 2020 and very limited number CBU, and I didn't even know why they launched it, but it's surprising they launched it and it did well. This car actually replaced the beautiful Hiace, because the Hiace has gone more commercial. If you go to Dubai, every second commercial vehicle is actually a Hiace. It's huge, and it can seat 11, 12, 15 and 30 people also. In Rajasthan, that is, if you take that car there, because people will hang out or hang on top like that. So guys, this is my vlog of the Toyota Vellfire Executive Lounge. I think it is a fantastic MPV. It should definitely be made in India at an attractive price. You know, if this was priced slightly more than the Fortuner, wouldn't that be just amazing? There would be so many people who would buy one, and probably they should consider getting the Alphard as well. Right now, I think this is one of the best MPVs. I've driven so many Toyota MPVs. I've driven the Hiace, which was very difficult because it had a partition in the center and then I could not see anything in the rearview mirror, but I really enjoyed it. Now look at this, the battery is not depleting as fast as I expected, and no matter how good a research I do online about the size of the nickel metal hydride battery, I'm not able to figure out what is the size, but I believe it will be under 1 kilowatt because that's what Toyota usually does. If you like this vlog, make sure to give the thumbs up, that's the like button, and also subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next video real soon. Bye bye.